Just a little update on what's going on. It took me forever to get that aluminum sliding door set up out of there. I worked all day yesterday and basically accomplished nothing. The inside or the outside door would not release, and I got, the sliding door came out with no problem, but the stationary door would not come out. It would not even slide over to where I could take it out. I couldn't figure it out. Finally, I gave it a rest. I said, that's it. This is ridiculous. I tried everything. I didn't want to break the glass. Finally, this morning, I found out that there was an aluminum screw that they had put through the track and into the vertical aluminum bar of the door, which would be that inside, no, this one here. They put a screw into this here, which was keeping it from sliding. Anyway, once I got that done, the rest was pretty easy. There was a ton of nails as long as my leg. And I'll tell you what, I'm tired. It took forever. I've got that old rotten piece out, and there was some rotten wood, as expected. Water damaged wood underneath this plate that was on the bottom of the aluminum sliding doors. Well, those sliding doors are now completely gone. Wifey said, hey, if we're going to do this, let's put a set of French doors in there. Okay, so it's been completely gutted out. They're delivering the French doors tomorrow. They're just so heavy I couldn't handle them. Otherwise I'd have brought them home myself. Plus they're very large. I don't have anything to haul them in. So I've got to get things ready. We slept last night with a big hole in the wall covered up with plywood and drapes. And we'll do it again tonight. Fortunately, we've got nice warm weather. And right now, after I tore up the wood, of course, this wood edge that was there went underneath the sill plate of the wall, and or the footer of the wall, and into the bathroom here. So I trimmed that all off right up to the floor joist, and I have to replace it with this 2x4. I've got to nail that 2x4 on there because the plywood, when it slides up under there, it's got to have something to nail to. Otherwise, it's going to be dipping in the center. What was holding it up before was that footer along that wall. Now, this here is going to have to come out too, like I said, from old bathtub damage from many years ago. It's dry, not wet anymore, but it's soft and got to come out. So I'll be putting an additional 2x4 along there, and I might even take it all the way up to there. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Right now, my primary objective is to get this thing cut to size, slid in, nailed down, and start putting some framing around this thing and some polybutyl backed aluminum tape for waterproofing and a whole bunch of other crap. I've got silicone and you name it. We're going to get it all ready and get it sized up. Tomorrow when they deliver the door, I got a friend of mine who's going to come over and help me fit it in, get it nailed up, and the whole job will be done as far as he's concerned. He can take off. I just need him for about 30 minutes or so. In order to do this job, put in the flooring, plus another big job I have later on. I don't know when I'll get to it. I hope by winter time. I decided it was time to go ahead and buy a nail gun. I was going to buy a boss stitch. But then I began to realize, hey, I only have 2 projects I'll probably use a nail gun on. I don't need an expensive gun. So I looked around for reviews on various nail guns, and I came up with this Numax, this model here. And so I looked for reviews on it, various places, not just one place. And I never got any review that said it was a wonderful, spectacular, be sure to buy it kind of nail gun, but I also didn't come up with any that said, hey, it's a piece of crap, stay away from it, nothing there. Every once in a while you're going to find somebody who doesn't like something. I don't care who they are, they just hate the world. But anyway, I went ahead and I bought it because it was half the price of the boss stitch. It'll do the job, and it's lightweight. It only weighs 8.5 pounds. Now that's something that really attracted me, was its weight, and it'll take up to 3.5-inch full round head framing nails. And the one I got is 21 degrees, and what that means is the nails are angled at 21 degrees. And I bought a box of Hitachi full head framing nails. I have 25 in each band, and they have the plastic inserts that hold them in place. So I'm hoping this will work. It'll take up to a maximum of 115 pounds of air pressure. They recommend you run it at about 85. But this is nice and light. I like this, you know. It's a 21 degree. I really like this. They have a little guard there that you can put on the trigger. It's a bump, you know. Every time you bump it against the floor, you know, it'll nail, you know, bump, bump, bump. Well, I don't want that. I'll wind up putting a nail through my foot. So I went ahead and I'll just leave it like it is, to where you just press it in and go bang, you know, put your nail in. So that's what we're going to be putting our 2x4 over there in. That's leaning up against the wall, along that wall. And when it comes to putting in, now I'll be using roofing nails to put the subfloor in. I have these long shank stainless. They're some kind of a rust preventive type roofing nails. I can't remember what it is, but they're nice ones. Just enough to do. I didn't buy, you know, a ton of them. I just bought enough to do the subfloor, a couple of pieces to put in. But when it comes time to do the 3/4 inch plywood on top, this is what we're going to be using right here. I wanted to be able to get that in quick, bang, 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 bang. And so I just got done reading a little bit about nailers. Have I ever used a nailer extensively like this, a framing nailer? The answer, of course, is no, but of course that never stops me from doing anything. You know, something else we learned. Yeah, one thing I learned by reading this, though, is, you know, it's natural for the nailer, when you pull the trigger, for it to go down, drive the nail in, then bounce back up, just like shooting a rifle. You know, you have that recoil. And they said, don't try to keep the gun from recoiling. It's a natural part of the action. You know, if you sit there and try to hold it in while you drive the nail in, you can wind up damaging this front stuff here. And the nail will go too deep, stuff like that. You can set the various depths of the nail by using this right here, I believe it is. One thing I wasn't too keen about, I took out this fitting and put new Teflon tape in there. I didn't like the way they did. They put some kind of a compound. And when I took the wrench, it's a 14 millimeter. When I took the wrench and tightened it a little bit to make sure it was tight, it just wasn't that tight. Now this is metal, and I think it's metal. Yeah, I think it's plastic coated metal of some kind. Anyway, I went ahead and put new Teflon tape in it. I don't want a bunch of air leaking when I'm using it, so we'll see how it works. And my little Cobalt air compressor can maintain, you know, up to 100 pounds with no problem at all. And you know, I'm the kind of guy, you know, if it runs out of air and I have to wait a few seconds before I drive a few more nails, who cares? You know, who cares? In case I haven't told anybody, I'm retired. Got lots of time. Well, I guess, you know, for those of you like me who have never used a nail gun, maybe I ought to show you how to load this thing. They pretty much all load the same. There are differences. This is the loading area right here. This little thing here, just where you put the nail bullets, okay? And the bullets will go at an angle like so, okay? They don't go around the other way facing to the rear. You don't want nails facing to the rear, okay? You want them facing to the front of the gun. Like so, alright? So when it drives the nail in, it drives it in like that. Got to be facing forward. That's a 21 degrees angle there. So what you do on this particular gun is you take this little lever right here and you jack it all the way back until it clicks. Alright, just like on a rifle. Not much different. Then you go ahead and stick your nails down in there at the angle required. And they'll fit right in there, which is pretty slick, I thought. And then the nails stick out here, as you can see. And then there's a latch right here that needs to be depressed in order to allow the bolt to slide forward. You have to pull this back, press this in, and then it slides forward and jacks the nails on down. I guess you can put in a couple of these and make them 50, but I think what I'll do is just try 25 first. If all goes well, then I'll start putting 2 sets of nails in it. One last thing, they recommend, this thing comes with a little thing of oil, a little plastic bit of oil, and they say every so often put your 2 or 3 drops down in the air connection here. Come on, it doesn't want to focus, of course. There we go. It says, you know, this is where you hook up your hose, your air hose. They say Put 2 or 3 drops of oil down in there. It doesn't take a whole lot. You don't have to do it all the time. Don't use additives of any kind, you know, some special lubricant additive. And do not use detergent oil. Use regular nail gun oil that you can buy. I think it's called a pneumatic oil, something like that. Let me see if I'll get the name here and I'll let you know what it is. It's called pneumatic fastening tool oil. So if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever you go, ask for that. Remember, do not use detergent oil and do not use any kind of additive that, you know, you think might make the gun work better. No. Well, the old nail gun worked pretty darn good. Sure beat swinging a hammer. The problem I have now, though, is I still haven't established enough surface. This is even with the wall. I've got to have something that I can, you know, I'll be using a hammer for these nails to put the 1/2 inch stuff down with. So I'll have to scab on a second board just like that. That'll give me plenty of surface to nail the plywood. Alright guys, we're ready to take that piece of plywood that's been cut out, notched out in the corners for this corner over here and for this right here. And I've gone ahead and scabbed on a bunch of 2x4s along here in between each of the joists, then nailed them to the rim joist and toe nailed them into the floor joists, which gives us a little more added strength. Now there's not a whole lot of weight that's going to be in that area anyway, just the weight of the plywood. Actually, the walking area is out here. You don't get right up next to the door and walk, you know, with 2 inches from the door. It just doesn't happen. Same thing with the wall. But you know, I want to make it as strong as I can because we do have some weak wood as a result of the water. And I wasn't about to tear out the rim joist and do too much work. Don't know how to do it anyway. I'm not a carpenter. I'm just kind of doing this the best way I know how. So let's get the wood down and see how well my fit is. Well, not too bad. She fit really good. She's so nice and snug there in the corner, all along here. Real good. Real good. The only problem I had was I mismeasured here, right there in that corner right there. But the door will cover most of that, and the rest will be covered up by the 3/4 inch plywood that goes on top. Other than that, she's pretty square. Looks good. Well, the door has arrived. I've got all the pins out of the doors. Actually, both sides of this door will swing open. They got a hinge on both sides. Apparently you take the pins out and it opens up much like I have out in the old shop. I kind of like that idea. I didn't know that. But this is a swing in door from the outside in, and I can't put it in from the inside out because I would have to take off all this trim, and I don't want to mess that up. And I can't put it in just like it is because the hinges will be on the wrong side. So anyway, I went ahead and framed up the door, got it to where it'll fit. Hopefully it'll fit. Let's put it that way. I put another header board up there to give it another 1.5 inches down. And this concrete that was sticking out way past the brick, it was sticking out about, oh God, at least 1/2 inch or more. It would have interfered with the door sliding in. So I gave it a concrete ectomy with my hammer all the way down. Just chipped it away, so now she'll slide in good. I think we're about ready to go. I got to do the tape now. I was going to do the tape yesterday, but I said no, I got to do something with that concrete first. I'm getting ready to put down this Pella. It's called window and door installation tape. What it is, it's a rubber-backed butyl, polybutyl, I think is what they call it, or butyl. And the other side is aluminum. You peel it off as you go, and you run it around your entire door frame along the bottom of the wall, a couple of layers, one on top of another, all the way around, all the way along the top edge, and then down. My problem is that what we have on one side of our door frame here is we have the brick sticking out past the wood, so I can't fasten this door setup to here because the brick would be in the way. Well, over on the other side, I've got the door frame sticking out past the brick, so it's just the opposite. So I've skull-brained this thing and skull-brained it. The only thing I can do, I'm not gonna cut the brick off and all that crap. Just gonna Too much work for one thing, don't have the right tools for another, and I'm afraid I'd ruin something if I did. So what we're going to do is we're going to tape all this up, and we're going to mount our door against the outside surface of the brick on both sides. It'll fit. I'll have about a 1/2 inch clearance on both sides, and now of course there's no nails to nail it to, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to caulk it up the bottom like I'm supposed to, and around the door and all this other stuff, and then hold it tight and put screws in the top. And I'll be able to put screws in up here because I put another header in. Okay, so I'll put those in. We'll let its own weight hold it to the bottom with the caulking and the tape underneath it, and then probably tomorrow I'll bore through the casing, maybe 2 or 3 places along here. I'll put an anchor in there, plastic anchor. It looks like someone's already done it at one time, as you can see. I'll put a plastic anchor in there and run a screw through the door casing and paint it over. Probably won't even see it. Well, at least I hope we won't even see it. That's the best I can do. I mean, it's just nothing else. It's an old house. It wasn't built the way I would build a house, but I have to work with what I've got. Well, she's all taped up. I got it wrapped around here, probably a little too far. I'll have to trim that off later. But she's got a double. Oop, I'm gonna stick this up here. Get that stuck real good. This stuff is really great stuff. But they don't give it away, I'm telling you. It's 20 bucks a roll for that tape. But it's got that good black stuff on the back and gives it a good seal. So this side will be okay. All we have to do now is dry fit the door. If it fits, take it back out, caulk it. 3 rows of caulk on the bottom. Roll up some caulk. I might put, I don't know, I may put one big heavy one down each side and along the top. Put it back in and run screws up through the top into the wood. We'll see what happens. Well, she's not done yet, but she is in, and wifey's very happy with it. We got to get some handles and locks and things. I got to make a trip to Lowe's tomorrow. Unfortunately, there is a problem. This brick wall is in a 1/2 inch, at about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch further than this wall. It's not exactly straight. So when I put in this set of doors and I plumbed them up and I leveled them up, this casing molding is right against the brick. Over here, there's a space about that much. And that really sucks. It's up at the top. So it's kind of a leaning in that way. Well, what that means is we'll just have to put a little more molding along the outside edge and trim around. Of course, the top here is going to have a big old spacer put in there, no problem. But I'll try to match up something on this side to match up something on that side. But the majority of that work is over with. I have to caulk the bottom here, fill that in with some, I'll probably put some of that foam rubber stuff along in there. What do they call it? Backer rod. I may put a little backer rod in there and then fill that in with some caulking along the bottom. And that's about it. But other than that, she's sealed up real good. But I had to hurry up and get it done anyway because it's fixing to rain tonight and tomorrow. So I needed to get this pneumonia hole closed up. So that's it for now, guys. I'm sorry I haven't answered all the comments you guys have been leaving on the emails. I mean on the videos. I'm sorry I couldn't get to it. I've just been too busy doing this, and I still have to finish the inside. Wifey said it's time for me to stop all this other crap I was doing and do her stuff. I said, okay, all right. So the warm weather's here, and it's this way every year. But anyway, until next time, this is John.